Hello, welcome back to another episode of A Spiritual Ascension, my own 5-year journey. I'm telling my entire story of what happened, what transpired during the 5 years of my ascension, um, and which continues also. I don't think that you're actually done, but you do go through an intense journey to get you to a certain point. When I left off, I told you I had contacted this woman who had invited me to come to New York back in April. This is 2023, to visit her group, which was a healing group. And I had to look it up because I totally forgot what the group was called. What the healing art that they do is called Jure. So if you look that up, you'll kind of figure out what the name of the group is. And since I am a Reiki master, I thought it really interesting because I had never heard of another really healing arts that was popular like that. And it actually kind of had, when I went, it was kind of like a whole type of church thing. It wasn't an actual religion at all. Um, but the way it was set up, they sang songs. They had like a prayer session, they got together as a group and everything like that. So to me, the thing was, it reminded me a lot of my former religion. And that's why I was really hesitant as much as, I don't know where this cough keeps coming from. I'm sorry. In the last video, if you just watched the last video, coughing. All right, let's hope that doesn't continue. Um, so back in April, she had invited me. So it's now the end of May and early May, I'm sorry, early April. She had invited me to join her group. There was going to be a ceremony type of thing. They did healing during that time, and then they were all going to go out to lunch. So I said, that would be really nice to join you and see what this is all about. And of course, with any type of group, any religion, any type of organization, they're trying to get people to come in. And they were really impressed with my psychic abilities and that I had already done Reiki and stuff like that. Very nice people. I forget exactly, there was certain centers, I don't know, 5 or 6 other centers or churches, or I don't know what they called them actually within the United States, but it was based out of Japan. And even Reiki is a Japanese form of healing. So, as I had said in another video, I had left the house, the apartment for the older woman in the Bronx and had landed in Bryant Park one evening. And then my friend had called me and he put me up at another hotel. And, bless him because he went through a lot to help me. But understand too that he had already agreed to this before him and I were even born. There was already a soul contract for him to be in place there to help me at that time. So the next day he said, at this point, I really can't help you anymore. You're either going to have to find somewhere else to go or you're going to have to go to a shelter. And I just had this feeling, that I wasn't supposed to go back to a shelter. And it felt like Spirit was telling me to contact this woman. I'm going to call her Susan because I hate to keep saying woman and, this person, my friend. So I'll call her Susan. So I had contacted her. She had emailed me just saying that she was returning actually from Japan, from visiting that healing center in Japan. and was coming back to New York. So I reached out to her and I said, I'm kind of in a bind. I need somewhere to stay, and could you help me out for a few days? So she had said, I'll meet you in downtown Brooklyn and pick you up. She lived in Queens. So I guess around 5 o'clock that evening, she said, I have a pull-out couch. You could stay for a couple days. And she ended up picking me up downtown Brooklyn, I guess somewhere around 5 o'clock that day. And she drove me back to her apartment in Queens. Like I did, like, other than doing a reading for this woman over Zoom and spending a couple hours with her when she had her group had that celebration day that I had attended. Like I didn't know her other than that. And that's why I said the people that you meet along your path are there for a reason. Um, she was very, very kind. She had some old shirts that she didn't need anymore because I really didn't have anything other clothes. Like I think I picked up some shorts and another pair of like leggings. And I was still washing out, I think, the same bra that I had from my original. So now it's about 3.5 weeks since I had originally left that house. So now it's around May 21st or something like that. It's on a Wednesday, May 22nd of 2023. So ended up kind of just being able to rest again for a couple days. And she's kind of like, oh, well, what is your plan? So I said, at this point, like I'm back in New York now. I said, I'm going to have to get a job, of course, and um, just really to get back on my feet because I had nothing. So she was providing. I remember her and I walked to the food store, and she said, get anything you want. Um, I think I picked out some yogurts. Like I didn't want to be a burden to her in any way, and she provided, um, food. She said, whatever you want to eat in the refrigerator. Um, so over the next couple of days, I guess she saw that I wasn't any harm to her or nuisance or anything like that. So she said, you can stay. Um, your cat, I remember her saying, my cat, mi casa is your casa, whatever. And, um, but the thing was, twice a day, she does this kind of ritual for her healing practice. So she wanted me to engage in that. And there's a chanting that goes along. And so we would get up, I think around 11 o'clock. They kind of do a Zoom call with all the different, I don't know what they called it. I don't think they call them temples, but churches or each area of the country. There was, I think, 5 or 6 of them. They would kind of zoom in to have this one gathering together every day around, I think it was at 11, and then again around like 5 o'clock. So she wanted me to join in that with her. And I guess the reason being later on, she wanted me to join. And I guess as with any organization, you bring people in, you're kind of looked at as, you know, more of an elder being to say, like, I brought this person in. Nothing against her or anything in that way, but I think all organizations are kind of like that. Um, So I joined her every day at 11, at 5 o'clock, and we kind of stood in front of her um, ritual um, place that she had in the living room and did chanting, and then she would do healing on me. And I have to say, it was a very profound experience. Like I've done Reiki on others. What's all these? All of a sudden being attacked. I don't know where you went. Um, Let me pause it for a second. Sorry about that. It seems like I guess I sit down here and I go, of course, it's summer and my window's right here and the bugs find their way, mosquitoes, because you see where I live at, right? So they kind of, and there's woods right across the way there. So they always seem to find their way in here with me. And I cringe. Anyway, sorry about that. Um, so here I am staying in this woman's house. And so, of course, I feel obligated to participate in kind of these twice a day ritual sessions with her. Not to say that it wasn't interesting and that I did feel like healing being taken was taking place. Because like as a healer myself, um, to be able to feel the energy of a different type of healing modality was really, really interesting to me. So, um, in the meantime, my days would be spent kind of going to the nearby library and um, putting in resumes and just online, like trying to find a job. And her and I would do some walking in the evening together. Um, she liked to watch basketball games, so usually I would go in the other room and I did my own kind of spiritual. I was always doing my spiritual writing, journaling, and stuff like that. I was still in touch with my guy friend, and at this point, him and I had spent so much time together that as much as I didn't want a relationship with him in the very beginning, it did kind of develop into a relationship. Um, and he had been there for me through this whole thing from the very start of when I first left that house back in New Jersey. So, and kind of, had, given me so much as far as financial help. And I think he himself had also gone through a lot um, growing up and um, I think he had a lot of pain he was dealing with. And I think him and I together were kind of healing for each other. So he would call me every evening and see how I was doing. And, it was nice to be able to have that friendship at that time. So she wanted to take me to out in Pennsylvania. They have a site where it's kind of like this big church um, healing center. And she said, let's go out there for a couple days. And they have what they call sensei out there. And they also do the rituals twice a day at like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, something like that. And then again, like 5 o'clock. They had some rooms for us to stay in, and it was really, really nice. And the town was very quaint, so we walked around a little bit, and it was just relaxing and healing. And the people who took care of the church there, came and supplied us food while we were there, and just very nice and relaxing. And I got to have some downtime. So I think we stayed there from like Thursday to Saturday, maybe. And then we left and came back to New York. But it was also nice to be able to travel too, because I hadn't really been anywhere, in a car far away, and just to get away from New York too, that area. Um, so over the next couple of weeks, it was more of me trying to do interviews and trying to find a job. And um, she was very kind in providing food for me, and some extra clothes that she had, and other things that I just, personal items that I didn't have. And it was for, like, again, I say strangers are going to come into your life, or people that you've met from years ago, and you lose touch with them, and then all of a sudden they show back up into your life. And there's a reason for that. And like this woman who contacted me for a reading, she ended up being one of the ones that helped me through this time. So just understand that you never know, a person coming into your life can play such a big part on your journey. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.